Rehearse. What is this called? Record. What is this called? Practice. What is this called? Test. Oh
What just happened?
no.
Like, what just happened?
I glitched.
But anyway, sponsored by Happy Pop. What is Happy Pop? Listen, Barbie tries to have a good day every day. It said I was in kind of a bad mood today, so I was just groggy. So I went to Erewhon to get some bread, and I saw a drink that said Happy Pop mood boosting energy drink.
It's from Erewhon.
Yeah, it says happier mood, and I think it worked.
Erewhon.
I know some people who could drink this for real. Um, yeah, it says happy blend, tropical blend of pineapple juice, tart cherry juice, orange juice, organic green coffee bean, apple cider vinegar. It says there's L-Dopa, 90 milligram. Whoa, does that mean there's like actual dopamine in this? Does that work? Does that how that works? I didn't know you could bottle dopamine. Why has nobody been doing that? That's crazy.
That's a bajillion-dollar idea.
Yeah, wait a minute. L-Dopa.
Is that Spanish for dopamine?
No, I think that's just like the like technical like medical definition.
Is it EL or just L?
Like the letter L dash dopa. Oh, I know. I get it. I get it.
I wasn't making a joke. I thought it was El
Oh, no, no,
El
no.
Dopa.
Anyway, Summer, if you guys are watching on the YouTube, which I know many of you do.
Many of you. It's like 17.
Yeah. This is the last time Summer will be recording in her apartment that the keys will be turned over to another friend of the pod. This is crazy. How are you feeling right now? That within like 6 days you're gonna be a Los Angeles resident.
Yeah, that's actually tied perfectly into my moment of desperation. So, shall I?
Oh, sure. I
Also,
guess.
the funny thing that I wanted to tell you before is that I'm waiting for my food.
Yeah.
And guess what my delivery driver's name is?
Rashawn?
No, wait, why would you guess that?
I don't know.
Do you know a Rashawn who delivers for Seamless in New York?
No, I was just thinking about Rashawn Fagan for a second.
My friend.
Yeah, you know him.
Yeah. Well, his name is Fulbert.
Why would I guess that? Seriously, why would like that come to mind? I think it's more likely I would guess Rashawn Fagan than Fulbert. I don't know if you've heard about the tariffs, the lack of acting work.
That's true. That's true. You're right. I can't believe I glitched before.
I can reenact that.
I know. So to your question from a moment ago, as I told you, I have 9 boxes sitting behind me waiting to be shipped out. And I fly out on Saturday, and there's just so much to do. Now, my moment of desperation, all encompassing, is the move itself. This is hard, okay? I did not realize, and I know moving is hard, but I didn't realize how hard it is when you're doing it, one, across the country, and you already know that, but 2, when you're doing it all by yourself, quite literally all by myself. And like, I know my parents are there to quote unquote support me, but the physical packing of things I'm doing all by myself, and bringing things to the post office and etc.
Wait, that is kind of crazy to think about. Everybody who would help you is here already.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So my first part of this moment of desperation is the other day when I went to go ship out some boxes. Now, I had 3 boxes I had to ship. One was big, one was medium, one was small. And the post office is not far, but like it's just far enough that I wouldn't be able to carry 3 kind of heavy boxes. And
Uh-huh.
so I called an Uber and I hit a share because I was like, what are the odds I'm going to get another rider in the like 4.5 to 5 blocks? It
Mm-hmm.
was only $6. Tell me why. Um, the Uber picks me up and he drops me off a block and a half away from the post office. There was nobody else in the car. So, so I still had to
How
walk.
many blocks away was it from your apartment?
It's like 2 avenues and like 2 blocks, like
Okay.
streets.
Okay.
So
So it
I
only took you
paid
half the way.
effectively, yes.
Come
Um,
on.
and not to mention it was raining and I had my big Canada Goose on, and so I'm like tumbling out of the car, and it's not like one of those automatic doors, but it's like the one that you still have to slide, which
Mm-hmm.
like could not be more inconvenient, by the way, like for my situation. So I'm like, trying to slam the car, and I almost fall over with the boxes, and there are a bunch of men standing over here. Nobody's offering to help me, and so I start carrying my boxes towards the post office. I'm sweating. It's raining. Nobody's helping me. I'm just a little girl out in the wilderness, and I stop every couple of feet. Finally get there, and I'm, $110 later. The boxes are shipped. Fine. Cut to Saturday at 5 p.m. when I receive an email that says, "Hi, Summer. I found your license on the ground in Lower Manhattan
Woo!
last night. If you give me an email back, we can meet up. I'm in Brooklyn, and I'll get it back to you." He said he found my Instagram, and that was how he got my email. So I email him back immediately. And I said, "Hi, thank you so much. Oh my God, was it the whole wallet or just my license?" Because how do I say this? I'm not entirely certain of the whereabouts of my wallet at this current
Again,
moment. Yeah.
we've me and the listeners have been through this before. We remember the diner.
Yeah.
This is a really crazy. This is
But
crazy
but
word.
this ties directly back into the diner. So you remember
Okay.
how when that all happened, like I went and had to go get the new license and whatever, like it was a
Yeah.
whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't hear back from this clown, and I start freaking. I shouldn't say that. He might be listening to the podcast.
He's like, yes, I got Summer Moran's wallet. Yes, my
No, no,
favorite
no,
podcaster.
no. I told him today that I
Oh.
have a podcast. So, so I emailed him again Sunday morning at 7 a.m. and I was like, "Hey, just circling back on this, like I really need that license." And he texted me and he goes, "Hey, I'm so sorry, like the day got away from me. I'm heading into the East Village tonight around 10 o'clock if you can pick it up then." All right, fine, better than going to Brooklyn. So this was for last night. Then at 8:45 p.m., I get a message from him that says, "Hey, so I'm not actually coming into Manhattan now. What's tomorrow like for you?" So now I have to work my Monday around going to Park Slope to pick up my license.
Mm-hmm.
Christy, the payoff is like so insane here.
Okay.
Now, I just have to take a straight shot down the R train. He said to get off at like 25th and 4th. Fine.
Mm-hmm.
So I walk to the R, train comes pretty quickly, great. And then the R stops running at maybe like 3 stops before mine because of
Uh-huh.
police activity in Bay Ridge. So that train goes back up to Manhattan. Everybody is pissed. And a second train comes like 10 minutes later. Okay, fine. So we get on. And 2 stops later, now we're like 2 stops from where I need to be. It's again, it's out of service. So you have to wait for the next train. The trip that should have taken me maybe 40 minutes took me over an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So first thing, I get out at 25th Street. I'm like huffing and puffing. Oh my God, that's finally over. Waiting for this guy to come with my license. And he's like, great, I'm 3 minutes away. So I kind of like see him. I looked him up on Instagram. I see him walking. He's probably like a couple years younger than us. He's a comedian, very
Mm-hmm.
nice guy. And he hands me my license. And I look down, and it's my old license.
Come on.
Yeah. And I went, that's weird. And you want to know why it's weird? Because yesterday I went through my cabinet and I found not one copy of my old license, but two. Christy, I swear to you, it was the blue nail in the sand all over again.
I was just thinking that.
Because there is no reason I should have 3 copies of that license.
I'm confused. So is it 3 copies of like a license card?
Yes.
So not like a paper copy, like a replacement, like 3 copies of this license.
Correct.
God, that's really insane. Do you have any memory of making copies of this somehow?
Well, I did order one on the DMV website because I
Right.
thought I had to replace the old one, and then of course I found the old the old card in the wallet when I found it.
Okay.
But that still only adds up to 2 cards. So I don't know where the third one came from or how it was on the ground in Lower Manhattan. But you know what I'm still missing is my current license.
So your current license that you replaced after the diner situation,
Yeah,
that one you now can't find.
that one is at large, yes.
So you have 3 copies of the old license and not one of them are the new one.
That's right.
Are you sure?
Well,
Because if you have 2 copies of the old one plus one new one, that adds up to 3. So are you sure there's something you're just not seeing? Like
so the
how would you differentiate them?
the old one has the picture of me from when I was 17, and the new one
Okay.
has the picture of me from last summer. So that's how I know the difference. And
Okay.
the copies that I have all have the picture of me at age 17.
Okay, so you are moving in 4 days.
That's correct.
What are you going to do about your missing wallet?
Oh, I'm gonna find it.
Okay. Sorry I asked. It's on me.
That's on me.
That's on me. I'm so sorry. So sorry.
Today I was talking to my dad about the situation, as I do, and he
Okay.
was like, "So are you planning to find your wallet before you leave for LA?" And I said, "Well, of course."
I mean,
And
it
he
has
said,
to be somewhere.
"Good."
Is it like possible that it's in a box you packed and sent?
I don't believe so. That said, I have not seen it in 2 weeks from today.
Okay.
But I know it's in my apartment because there have been no strange charges on my card or on my dad's credit card.
I do just wish that you cared about like where your wallet was a little bit more. I feel like that is a really like, important thing to have. Like I check if I
Yeah.
have my wallet every time I leave the house.
Right. No,
I
of
check in all my
course.
purses, especially if you're going to be operating a vehicle here.
Yes.
You've got to
For
like have
sure.
eyes on that wallet
No, I totally
more
agree.
often
I completely
than
agree.
not. just
Yeah.
just saying my piece here.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm going to have a
Yeah.
nugget as you explain
Okay.
your moment of desperation, and please make me feel better about what I've just said.
So I've had like a lot. We haven't recorded in a minute, mainly because you've been so busy packing, getting your life together. Listeners, sorry. So you can't be mad at us because we have reasons right now. I was also in oh my God. I have a huge moment of desperation yesterday with tofu. That,
Oh,
that resulted in a $300 vet bill just to take a bath. But I'm not gonna. I don't want to like tell. I don't want to have to subject the listeners to another story of tofu being a dirty cat. It's gross. But
I
anyway,
think you have
so
to just give them the TLDR.
oh my God. So basically, tofu had, a bathroom. I just hate bathroom humor. I don't think it's funny. But a piece of fecal matter that did not make it to the litter box. And the more I tried to clean it, the more I realized it was a lot of it. So we're basically running around the apartment. I'm trying to get him. I have gloves on. The gloves start spreading it all over him and all over the apartment. So I got to the point where I said, we're actually like having a verbal altercation. I'm cleaning him, saying stop, stop, stop. He's hissing at me back. Like we're actually fighting. Um, and then I said, you know what, we're done. So I stuffed him in his bag and I said, we're going to the vet. So I showed up to the vet and they wouldn't give him a bath without an exam, which is fair. He hasn't had one in a while. So $300 later, he got a bath. And by the way, they tried to double charge me because he was very dirty and difficult. So they did it because of the wonderful girls at the desk. But that was, I think, really insane.
Very dirty and difficult.
The way he wouldn't look at me when we returned home yesterday. He was just like moping. He was like, I don't want to look at you. I don't want to talk to you. Like he was mad at me. He was so mad. He wouldn't look. He like looked
As if
depressed.
it was not his own fault.
Yes, I was like, I'm sorry. I was just trying to help you. He was so mad. And then in the middle of the night, he like came up and tried to like hit my head to take my pillow and was purring. So now we're good again. But yeah, we got into like a huge fight yesterday. Anyway, so my real moment of desperation. Amalia was like, I've never seen you in a bad mood like I did yesterday. I was like, yeah, I was angry. Also, I have trauma. I don't like leaving my cat at the vet. Anyway, so my real moment of desperation. Guys, I'm really sparing you the details on that. It's disgusting.
Yeah, consider yourselves lucky.
Consider yourself very lucky. Um, but basically, I was in New York last weekend and I had a great time. I saw everybody I'd want to see. I saw a Broadway show, period. I'm not elaborating. And so you know me, you guys. I like to take a red eye. So I took the red eye there. My first day I said, I saw summer. I said, I love New York City. I love New York City.
I love New York City.
I love New York City. I love arriving in the morning. I love taking a tiny little nap and then taking a walk. It was a beautiful sunny day. And then I had my 6 a.m. flight back, which again, it's kind of a middle of the night flight. So I get home in the morning and I can work. But the caveat of that is I have to leave my apartment at like 3:45 a.m. So I wake up at 3:45 and I had gone to bed late already because I went to this particular Broadway show. And then I had to go to a diner after, so I didn't really, but I was like, whatever. Like I knew what I was doing was wrong. So I wake up at 3:45 and I feel a little scratch in my throat. And I'm like, well, that's not good. I feel like I'm going to be getting sick. This isn't a good time for me. So I get to the airport, what have you. And have you ever felt like sick in a way? This happens to me a lot, and I know exactly like what's coming. Where like you're drinking water, but you don't feel like it's absorbing into your body.
Yeah.
So that's how I was feeling. I think I may have gotten sick from like just being really dehydrated and I didn't sleep for like the whole weekend as per usual. So I get on my flight and I had like a huge like $8 big smart water, life water actually. I think it was a life water. And I get on the flight and there's this girl who's like right in front of me and she's in my row. She's like, I have the middle seat because I refuse to pay JetBlue any extra money, so I don't pick my seat to my detriment.
Right.
So I have the middle seat. She has the window. And again, it's not even 6 a.m. at this point. It's maybe 5:45. I'm tired. I'm nonverbal. Like I'm delirious. I'm sick. I don't know what's going on. So she's like very slowly putting her stuff up. And she slowly sits in her seat. And she has her bag on my seat. And I look at her and I'm like, she looks like she's really mean. But I wasn't trying to judge because people say that about me all the time. And turns out I'm the nicest girl in the world. So I was like, okay, like maybe she just doesn't mean look, it's really early in the morning. So I was like, is this your stuff? Again, it's 5:45 a.m. I'm not even realizing that there's really nobody else around. I'm out of it. And she goes, I'm moving it. And then grabs
Oh.
her bag. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. So sorry. Okay. So then I sit down. She's just sitting, typing away on her phone. I see a little group chat she's going on. She's typing. And I'm like, okay. So I put my hat on. I put on my soothing, like Celine Dion playlist, and I'm trying to knock out. Whilst on this flight, again, 6 a.m. flight, you guys. Everybody's trying to sleep. Tell me why these two 12-year-old boys right across are yip yip yapping the
No.
whole flight playing a game.
No.
Like yapping, top of their lungs. And I had my noise cancellation headphones on. I was listening to Celine Dion. I was listening to the Harley Quinn Lady Gaga album. I like Gracie Abrams. I like soothing pop music while I sleep on a plane. But it's a long flight. My AirPods die. I can hear them loud and clear. So I'm like shaking. So at some point, Miss Girl next to me taps me on the shoulder to move. She can go up to the bathroom. And I was like, oh, of course. Then the girl in the aisle seat knocked out, like fully like knocked out. I'm so jealous of her. She was out of the flight. So like I'm lightly tapping her. And she's not waking up. And I feel bad because I feel bad doing this. I'm just like lightly tapping. The girl goes, oh, shakes her awake.
What?
And I was like, oh my God. So then she gets up, and again, I'm like, I'm half asleep. So I was just trying to like move my legs so she could move up so I wouldn't have to get up. And unfortunately, I'm a very leggy girl, and they don't have a lot of leg room in the back of the plane. So like she like was struggling a little bit getting around me, which my mistake. Maybe I should have gotten up, but I'm tired. So I was like, oh, like I'm sorry. And then when she came back, I did get out because I was like, on me, fine. So then I go back to sleep. Plane lands, thankfully, and I get off the plane. Again, these kids are yapping. I'm like in a bad position. I'm feeling sicker and sicker and sicker.
Yeah.
So I get off the plane, and there are these two girls like waiting. And in my mind, I'm like, I bet they're with the girl who I was just sitting next to. So then I see them wave, and then I hear her go, "Oh my God, my flight! I can't believe what I just went through." And I was thinking, I'm like, "Oh my God, yeah, terrible flight." So I'm walking away from them, and I hear her go, and then this girl. I turn, and they're all looking at me, and I go, "Now, what do you have to say about me?"
Did you say that?
No, I wish if I had felt healthy, I would have loved to. But I was just throwing my bottle of water away, and I hear them go, this girl, and I just go, that's what I did. I was like, at least wait until baggage claim to complain
Yeah.
about me. But I was like, what?
What could she have possibly had to say?
What? Oh, that girl with the legs longer longer than my body. Her beautiful toned legs. Legs like a supermodel.
The leggy blonde in seat E.
The really leggy blonde next to me couldn't move because her legs were so. I was like, that was not. And I said, I'm so sorry. And then I got up the second time.
Yeah.
So that's all she could say. But other than that, I slept the whole time. So I was like, literally, what's your problem with me? Yeah, and I hope she's listening. I don't know her name, but like, I can tell you, I've never gotten such like a negative spirit from anybody before on a flight. Like, I could just tell she was like not a nice girl. But her friends seemed really nice, and when they were all looking at me, they weren't like glaring. They were looking like, oh, like I think they knew that their friend is mean.
Yeah. Well, then why are they friends with her? They should drop her. Like
I
a
don't know,
hot
maybe she's
potato.
that type who's like a good friend, but like really like kind of can be a Karen and can be really mean to other people.
Oh, like you.
Hmm. Hey,
I'm kidding. I'm
hey, look,
kidding.
I just told this whole story about how nice and leggy I am.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. But anyway, so girl, if you're listening, I don't know who you are. I don't know
I
where
don't
you
want to
came
know who you
from.
are.
I don't want to know. But just so you know, you messed with the wrong person on that JetBlue flight. Something unfortunately really bad is going to come to her, and I wish her nothing but the best. But that's what happens. So,
I wish her nothing but the best.
yeah, like I unfortunately she made a list, and my list is not somewhere that you want to be. So, I'm like Miss Ungermeyer with my list, okay?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's a good
Anyway,
reference.
thank you. Anyway, I think we should get into the episode because we did get a bad review that we are too self-centered Valley girls.
Well,
Who
I
talk
you
too
know
much about
what?
ourselves to get to the episode.
We may be self-centered, but only one of us lives in the valley.
Yeah.
Take that.
We're only one Valley girl. You could have at least said New Yorkers.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this episode is called Into the Woods, or episode 3, season 20. Season 3, episode 20. Season 3.
21.
No, it's 20.
Really? I
Into
put
the
down
Woods,
21.
20. No, it's 20. Last week was 19, so this week's 20.
I'm sorry, I have to look it up.
I think I was right this time.
No, it's episode 21.
Wait, so what was episode 20?
Gossip.
I thought that was 19. So what was episode 19?
Does it matter?
I'm just a little confused. Okay, fine. Once again, I stand corrected. Episode 21 called Into the Woods. And I don't think it takes any further. What?
Christy, I know you hate hearing about dreams, but I just need to tell you
Hey.
that last night I had a dream that we were on season 7, like the last episode of season 7, which in my dream was the last episode, and we were like wrapping up the podcast, and I was really sad.
Okay. That's it? You were just sad you were wrapping up the podcast?
Well, yeah, because it was like we were like going to be done with it forever.
Well, that day will come one day. It's going to be a sad day for us all.
Nope, I reject it. Don't say it.
Which is kind of crazy because when we started this, we're like, we're going to have to do this for 3 years. Now
That
I'm
was
like,
with no breaks. Uploading every week, no breaks.
yeah, oh my God. What we could tell us then. Taking a lot of breaks. Okay, so season 3, episode 21, Into the Woods. And I don't think it takes any further research to figure out that this Sondheim song was from the show Into the Woods.
We start off with people of Fairview getting attacked, and Mary Alice's intro monologue is about how people are transformed into victims.
And then we see Lynette and Rick on a date at her restaurant. And she's like flirting with him, and she's like, oh, hair down. She's like, oh my God, like, I love our little dinners. This is the best part of my day every night. Like, I love dinner with you, my boyfriend. And then the mob comes in.
The mob?
They literally looked like a mob to me. Like,
do they look like
that's the mob?
A mob or the mob?
To me, it was the mob, but I watched this maybe 2 weeks ago. So I just said the mob comes in and locks them in their fridge. And then Rick gives her his apron and they cuddle in the fridge.
It's specifically the walk-in, like the walk-in
Yes.
freezer. So it's at like 45 degrees or something, and Lynette is freaking out thinking that they're going to freeze to death in the walk-in.
And then Mary Alice goes, at the exact same second his wife was getting locked in the freezer. Which I thought was funny. Then we cut to Tom.
And Tom is having a nightmare.
What's his nightmare about?
I don't know. My note just says Tom is having a nightmare.
Maybe he just goes, oh, I had a nightmare.
Well, because
Maybe we don't see
it's
it.
it's important to note that he's already asleep Rick
Yeah,
says something like, "Oh, Tom will come get us," but Tom takes his pills and knocks out at like 10.
right. And then Tom wakes up and he sees Lynette's not home.
Tom wakes up. That's the title of the episode. Also, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I
Okay.
noticed in the opening credits, Ricardo Chavira was
Mhm.
credited as Ricardo Antonio Chavira. And I just thought that was interesting because he's never been credited as his full name before.
That's weird. I wonder why.
Yeah, strange.
I'm gonna keep note of that for the next episode because I wonder if that was just like a mistake.
A mistake to add in his middle name.
Well, yeah, because for my job, I literally have to check people's names for the credits and see like their professional name versus like legal names. So
Oh,
I would think perhaps maybe somebody just like, but if it's a running show and you don't change that, I feel like that would be a crazy oversight. So I don't know.
right. Unless he's been
Ricardo?
credited like that the entire time and I didn't notice, but I don't
I
think
don't think he
so.
has been. No, I feel like
Because
we would
we
have
would
noted
have
that
brought
for
that up,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, if Ricardo Chavira ever wants to tell him, tell us.
Now you're just misgendering us.
Well, I see his crazy friend at the bar all the time, and every time I'm like, "Hey, where's Ricardo?" And every time he goes, "I don't know who you are." And I'm like, "Yes, we met so many times. I texted Ricardo on my phone, on his phone."
Ricardo, Ricardo.
Come on. Um, so then we get back to the freezer, and she and Rick slept like little angels,
They were canoodling.
cuddling, and she wakes up, she's literally rubbing his arm.
He says Tom is a lucky guy.
That's a crazy thing to say after you
Yup.
guys just cuddled in the freezer for 8 hours.
And they nearly canoodled. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
And then they hear him come in, and she goes, "Oh, get off of me. Oh my God, I can't be seen like this." And he rescues her.
Cut to Gabby shopping with Vern. We love Vern. I don't remember the context of their conversation, but Vern did say something along the lines of, "I go on one gay cruise," and that just made me giggle because that was like so of its time. Like I feel like gay cruises now are just called cruises.
Yeah. I also just like love how gay characters in the early 2000s like had to be a stereotype.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's really
like
actually it's so funny. Like they just can't be like normal gay. Like no no no, like they were all like
no, but like they were specifically at this time using gay as an adjective.
yeah.
So it would be like, "Oh, well play it more gay." And it's like, well, gay is a sexuality, so what you're saying is play it more stereotypically flamboyant.
But as somebody who knows a lot of gays, like I think that's just the truth. Like they stereotype themselves. Have you ever been on Stan? Have you ever been on Stan Twitter? Like this is not a drag. This is just the truth. This is just the truth.
And then Gabby gets a ticket because she's yapping with Vern, and the cop, I'm saying cop, but he's really just like a meter cop, um, tells her that she is out of time and he writes her a ticket.
And he specifically says, she's like, "What are you doing? Like I told you I was leaving." He goes, "Well, you kept flapping your gums."
That's crazy work.
I wish that was like one of our reviews. Those girls just don't stop flapping their gums. I don't like
Consider,
that. Do you ever
cons-
Wait, sorry, but speaking of dreams, like do you ever get dreams that like your gums are falling out?
I get that a little bit. I get more teeth falling out dreams. I get them a lot.
Oh my God, I used to get gums that I'm like trying to talk and I'm like pulling at my like I'm pulling out my gums.
Oh, I
Because I
hate
it's
that.
just like in my mouth and I'm like
Ew, Christy.
I used to get it a lot when I would wear a retainer.
Oh, sure. I
And
was just gonna
then
say,
what?
that consider my gums flapped.
I love flapping my gums. Flap, flap, flap. Flappy.
Then, then Susan approaches Carlos about Mike moving, and she's questioning him. Actually, she's full on interrogating him, and Carlos is being super weird and dodgy, and Susan just starts pleading with him, and Carlos eventually gives her enough because he's like, oh, well, he's at, this resort cabin in the woods thing at the hot springs. And Susan immediately leaves to go hunt him down.
I also think what's very funny is he goes, bros before hoes, first of all. And then also, she says the whole thing. She goes, I can't like think about this too long. Like, what? I have a daughter. And then the next scene, she goes, bye, Julie. You'll figure it out. I gotta go. You can
Yeah.
take care of yourself. I gotta go get Mike. Whoa. And my note is literally, he's hiking and she leaves Julie for dead.
Then, speaking of children, we get to Travers, and he's playing a game with Carlos. Carlos goes back inside, and he's with Edie, and they're being really cute, and they make this plan to go to the batting cages over the weekend, and it's just very, very wholesome until
Dad comes back.
Travers' dad comes back
Yeah.
specifically.
And Carlos is like, no, can like Travers stay longer? And the dad's like, no. Gotta create more childhood trauma for him to not know his mother that well.
Yeah, and then Travers and Edie like leave the room to go get him dressed or something, and then it's just awkwardly like Carlos and the dad, and Carlos is
Yeah.
all sad.
And then we're back at Scavo's Pizzeria, and they're looking at surveillance footage. What?
Yes, this scene, this is gonna annoy you, but this scene reminded me so much of FNAF. For all of my FNAF lovers out there, it's like the security cameras in FNAF.
I've just never seen FNAF, so I can't really attribute that to anything. Maybe I'll watch. We can do a movie night now that you'll be in Los Angeles.
I can't wait.
Are you gonna get a Universal pass?
Yeah.
Cool, because I want to go soon.
I do want to save up for a car as well, but I will
Yeah.
I will be getting a
$12 a
pass.
month. I
Yeah,
can't
I
wait to
see
see how
that's
you
worth
do
it.
without a car.
Yeah.
Well, you can rent a car maybe.
I'm planning to do that like very short term, like when I
Yeah.
book something and it's 5 days on set, fine.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So then, yeah, so they have surveillance footage of the robbery, and they rewind a little bit too much to Rick and Lynette clearly on a date, and Tom's like, "What's that?" And Lynette's like, "Oh, you can turn that off."
Oh,
Like, at least you
Lynette.
guys turn off. Like, why are you on a romantic date in
Right.
your husband's restaurant with the cameras on? At least turn them off. Like, you
Right.
have the ability to do so.
These people don't think, Christy.
No, they don't. If I was on Wisteria Lane, I'd be running that place like the Navy.
I know you would. Wait.
Yeah.
That's our fanfic contest. Us on Wisteria Lane.
And how we act. Because I would be like, I think Mrs. Huber, but like I'd be nosy, but I wouldn't let on that people knew I was nosy.
Right, you'd be like an inconspicuous nose.
Right, because I'm like good at manipulating people into giving me information. So without being like, oh, what are you up to? Like,
I
Giving you
think that Susan and I would be competing for like most adorable on the lane. So I think that would put like a little wedge in our friendship.
maybe. I think I would just be hanging out at Gabby's all the time.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah, because she would be like complaining about all her problems, and I would be lending a listening ear.
That's what you do.
Yeah, I'd be like, leave him. I feel like
Speaking of
we've discussed
Gabby.
this before. Speaking of Gabby, we get to Victor winning the mayoral race, and she jumps in his arms.
That was sweet.
It was sweet.
And then she is talking to the wife of Victor's campaign manager, and she's complaining about the ticket that she got. And the woman is like, oh, well, welcome to the other side where that never happens. No more inconveniences for you.
That's like something you should never tell Gabrielle, now Marquez, Solis. Like the way that this goes to her head in this episode is really something crazy.
Gabrielle Marquez to be Lang.
Yeah. And then Edie goes to see Carlos, and she's packing, or she's like, oh, he goes, where's Travers? And she goes, oh, he's packing, let's hang out. And he's like, I'm sad. My son's leaving.
I hated Carlos in this scene because now you're gonna choose to be an ass. Like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird timing because, oh, well, okay. I did notice he says he has to go back to work. Where do you work? We haven't seen you work in 2 seasons.
I don't
He
believe it.
hangs out in the middle of the day and
Yes!
works out in his garage. So I don't think that he's at work.
Maybe he's like dealing drugs at night or something.
I don't know, but it's like the one thing he doesn't have right now is a job.
The right.
So I don't know. And then Susan goes to the national park and
Oh my god.
she has no equipment.
Okay. I wrote down that, it's a 2-day hike to reach the hot springs. Susan
Right.
thinks she can do it by herself. But they're talking about how difficult it is to do that, and you need to have quads of steel. And I said that that's Christy coded
Wait, I thought
because
that
that's
too.
something you would say. Like, oh, my quads of steel.
No, I said that the other day because I do have quads of steel. Okay, sorry to the listener who doesn't like when we talk about ourselves, but me and a friend of the pod, Alexis, the other day were hiking Griffith Park, and it's very steep on the way down and very sandy. So I started sliding. Like I lost my grip on my sneakers. I started sliding. The way I just turned my body and I was skiing down the hill. Like I slid down like maybe 4 feet until I regained my balance, but I did not fall because of my quads of steel and my abs of steel. I literally there are people watching. I'm just like, Alexis is cracking up. It was really insane. But it was because of my quads of steel. It's the
Yeah.
truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Nice.
sorry, listener who gave us the 1-star review. I won't talk about myself again, I promise.
Ever.
Yeah, so then she's assigned, she's like, I can just go, it's fine. And then she gets assigned a lovely woman named Tony to take her up the hill.
Tony is hysterical. Is Tony like a guest star of some kind?
Well, yes.
Who is it?
I don't know. I didn't look it up.
But it's not like somebody you readily know?
I don't think so, no.
Let me look.
She was probably somebody who was just working a lot of ABC dramas.
But they always have like well-known actors in those types of roles.
That's true. It was ABC drama night at, like, not officially, but I was at a bar the other night, and I saw a guy from Private Practice and the guy from Grey's Anatomy and then the Disney Channel actor. I was like, what is going on?
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, it is ABC drama night tonight.
I have no idea, but we'll figure it out and then we're going to get her
Yeah.
on the podcast.
For sure.
So then we go back to the Tom and Lynette situation. Now, by this I mean Tom, who is obviously suspicious, has dinner with Rick, and he really does not beat around the bush. He just goes, "Are you sleeping with my wife?"
And Rick
Well,
goes, no. And then Tom says, like, hey, Rick, like, I want to fire you, basically. And Rick goes, Lynette wants me there, so you can't do anything about it. I'm like, whoa.
like Rick thinks he has the upper hand, and he kind of does, only because Lynette does want him.
And Tom goes, you're wrong. Lynette will never leave her family. Maybe she would, if given the choice.
And not only maybe she would, but maybe she should.
Maybe she should. She's unappreciated in that family. We love cheating. We love cheating. I love cheaters. Why was I saying that yesterday at the pool? I don't know.
So then we're with Susan and Tony on the hike. And, like, in classic Susan fashion, she is trauma dumping about her situation. And this poor woman, Tony, like, I can only imagine all she wanted to do at that moment was throw herself off the mountain.
Okay, my thing is, I think that this whole thing is kind of tea, and I would love to hear about it if I was Tony. Like, I can, like, this is crazy drama. Like,
Yeah.
imagine you're on a hike and this woman is like, oh my God. So I was in love with this guy and then he got hit by a car, was in a coma. So I started dating this other guy whose wife was in a coma and then Mike woke up. Like, that's amazing. And I think that's so entertaining. Like, why are you mad? She could be some like boring housewife, but no, she comes with a backstory.
She has a package, yeah.
She's kind of me explaining um the summary of Trade of Hearts to anybody who will
Yes.
listen. I'm like,
Yes.
no, I'll tell you all about Trade of Hearts. Susan's trauma dumping and she goes, "Ugh, got a bug in my mouth." And she goes, "The bugs can't get in if you keep your mouth shut."
Then
Um,
Edie gets Travers a puppy, and God, this storyline really brought me back to my childhood as a child of divorce because when I was 19, my dad bought me a rabbit and a bike in the same day.
what
Um,
happened to, I remember this.
I
What
actually don't
happened to the
like
rabbit?
I don't like talking about it because it makes me anxious. Um,
Okay.
Long story short, I don't know. Um, but I will say like so much of this episode, this storyline specifically, like brought me back because when you're a child of divorce, there are like bribes involved. And so Edie brings this puppy back and she's like, "Oh, you're going to bring this puppy. All your friends are going to be jealous back at home," knowing full well that Travers' dad, who I don't know his name, is
Wait,
allergic.
I'm sorry. I'm just really, I think it's so funny that your dad tried to bribe you with a rabbit and a bike at 19 years old. Like, at that point, you're an adult with free will. You can see whoever you want whenever you want.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Can I remember this? Like, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Like, you're fully an adult in college. And
Yeah,
he's
but
buying
see,
you a
like,
bike.
me at 19 is different from, like, a regular adult at 19.
I know. Trust me, I'm aware. I know all too well.
10-minute version. So,
Yeah.
I don't know what Travers' dad's name is, but he's allergic, and this whole scheme makes Edie trick Travers into wanting to visit more, and Travers is like, "I'll ask Dad about joint custody," which is the arrangement that my parents had, and it's scary.
Well, it's supposed to be good when they follow the rules.
Yeah.
Listen. That reviewer's gonna get so mad at us again.
Yeah.
She kept talking about her parents' divorce. I wanted to hear about Edie and Carlos.
Oh man.
Also, he goes, "I love my puppy. I'm gonna name him Fenway." Hey, why are you obsessed with the Red Sox? That's really random. That's
It's
just
really
so.
random.
Um,
Because are they from Boston? Edie makes no mention of being from
no.
Boston.
Also, Fenway. That's just like, I don't know. That's just such a kid thing. Like such a. Your name is Fenway. And then Susan is about to do a lavender and honey face mask in the middle of the woods. Me.
I was about to say.
And she's just so funny because she's just like, "Oh, let me pull out my lavender and honey face mask." And Tony's like, "You're gonna put something on your face that attracts bears in the middle of the woods."
Because somehow you are simultaneously Susan and Tony in this scene.
Yeah, because it's like, in theory, I would do that, but I'm smart enough not to.
Right.
Like, I would be sitting out and be like, "I wish I had a lavender and honey face mask right now."
Right, right.
But I wouldn't actually put that into action because I have a working brain.
Correct.
But then, what are the logistics of that? Like, how are you gonna wipe that off in the
I
middle
know,
of the
like,
woods?
she can't just wash it off.
But she goes, "I need to look beautiful for Mike tomorrow." And it's like, you think that a straight male? You think that you're gonna see him and he's gonna go, "Oh, wow, your skin looks so radiant. What did you use, a lavender and honey face mask last night?"
And specifically Mike, who is like the most masculine man on the show. Like, there in no world is Mike going to look at her and say, "Oh, that's the mask from from Drunk Elephant. Like,
Whoa, you're glowing. What moisturizer
yeah.
are you using? Like, he's not gonna say that. Um, and then Tony is basically just like, hey, Susan, so you're actually the problem. And she goes, well, what would you have done? And she goes, I wouldn't have cheated on a coma victim.
Okay, Tony ate with her monologue
No,
because
she
she
did.
she verbalized why people hate Susan that like I
Yeah.
didn't understand before. But
Hmm.
she does have a point. Like Susan always sabotages, she victimizes herself, and she doesn't know how to be happy because she has to always constantly create more drama.
I feel like this is one of the ways that, like, the way the monologue was written, it just feels, it felt a little bit to me like it was the writers describing Susan.
Yeah. Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
not like that was poorly written. It just, like, it kind of felt like, not, what's the word?
A
Um,
breakdown.
a breakdown, but
Like a
yeah, it just
character
felt like
breakdown.
fourth wall a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
That she, like, I was like, oh yeah, no, we're hearing like the character breakdown for Susan.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah, she kind of just read her to filth. And it's true. She was like, you create all this drama. Oof.
And then
Reminded me of some people.
as a reaction to this devastating read, Susan steals away in the middle of the night and leaves behind a note on a heart-shaped sticky note, which, like, super cute. I would buy that in an instant. Um,
Yeah.
but she rudely writes to Tony, "You can carry my stuff back down." Like, whoa, that's
Wait.
that's a little presumptuous, isn't it?
She goes, I can do this on my own. You carry my stuff back down. So you leave all of your equipment behind with your guide. At least take the stuff.
Right.
Like, take the map, take the compass, take, like, the, I don't know, the axe and the pick and stuff that you, I guess, also need to hike. So,
I
yeah,
don't think she could
Susan,
carry it.
you do create your problems.
Yeah.
And just, after hearing that, wouldn't you want to, like, be better?
No.
That was just really crazy. That was, I said crazy work so many times in this episode, so I have to stop.
I just want to say that this next scene is like Gabby and Vern on a stakeout, effectively. And they come across the meter man again. And this is where things really go to Gabby's head.
Yeah. She gets him and she starts fighting him and rips up the ticket, the parking ticket that she gets because she's asking for it, really.
Right.
And then she says that she no longer will have to pay for any type of ticket and says it's actually free ticket day and starts ripping up everybody else's ticket. So at least she was like she was definitely being for the people.
Yeah.
But
Because she's the first lady of Fairview.
yeah, but it's like you give her like a little bit of power. She kind of reminded me of like myself producing Big Hit Pending. Like I got like a tiny bit of power and it truly went to my head. And there's one actor in part, no, not an actor anymore, who deserves an apology. But and then she calls him Fat Boy. She goes,
She did?
"What are you gonna do about it, Fat Boy?"
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, and then that's when she got arrested.
Then we quickly cut back to Susan continuing to get lost in the woods. Next.
Travers goes up to his dad and goes, "Hey, Dad, can we talk about my joint custody?"
You know what? Not for nothing, but Travers is like the most likable kid on this show, and he's only here for like he's a plot device. We've talked about this.
Yes.
But he is still the most likable kid on Wisteria Lane.
I know, I want him to stay. Like, I love that he goes, "Dad," he doesn't go like, "Dad, I had such a great time with Mom. Can I stay like longer or can I come here more?" He goes, "Hey, Dad, can we have a talk about joint custody?" And then,
I feel like Travers and Parker are opposites of each other because Travers is like, "Hey, Dad, oh, I got a puppy. I'm so happy," and Parker's like, again, I saw the man in your freezer.
No, I think they'd be really good friends. I think they could like bring out the best in each other. They're kind of like split the
Fanfic.
atom. You can do it.
Yeah.
Um, and then Edie and the dad are fighting, and Travers is outside with the puppy, and Carlo or Travers, I don't know, something's going on. I don't remember this.
Yeah, all I
6
wrote
weeks
for
ago.
this scene was that this in particular triggered me. Carlos comes
Whoa.
over and he's like, "Hey, Travers, what's going on?" And he's like, "Mom and Dad are fighting again." I was like, "Yep, that's about how it goes."
And then the dad walks out and he's like confused about the whole custody situation because he's like, I don't know why Edie wants this. Like, this has been working out. I'm sorry a mother wants to spend time with her son. Like, what's crazy about this is like, okay, maybe she just had a change of heart and wants to spend time with her child, even though what
Dare I
she's
say,
saying.
a trade of heart?
Oh my god. She had a trait of heart. That's so crazy. Like she had a trait of heart. It's like, was she using Travers to get closer to a man? Sure.
Sure.
But still, at the end of the day, it benefits Travers to spend more time with his mother.
Yeah,
So perhaps, and I think it's probably good for Travers' psyche to see his mom like fight for him.
that's true.
Yeah, because that's like really like having your mom just like not around, not calling. That can be a little traumatizing.
Well, we don't know that she like doesn't talk to him regularly.
I don't think that she does.
Yeah, she's got better things to do.
But she's been kind of mom of the century this season, like with her nephew coming in and then suddenly he left and then was replaced with Travers.
Yeah. Huh.
Don't know why.
Scorpio Josh. Um, so okay, the next scene had me really aggravated because Rick confesses his love for Lynette. And what is her response? She has a Zack attack.
She goes, no, 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 you can't say that. No, you've ruined it. It was actually a starring performance from Felicity Huffman because she's literally like, again, I watched this 2 weeks ago, but in my mind, she's like throwing things all over the restaurant. Like,
Thrashing.
no, no, you can't. You've ruined it all. I don't know. I was having fun, and now you go and say that, and now you gotta just quit.
Listen, I know exactly what it's like to have a work crush that first starts making you feel good and then makes you go a little insane.
Yeah.
So, I get that, but like in Lynette's case, was anything ever gonna actually happen? Like she just liked having her little boyfriend.
I think she knew it was like she knew she wasn't going to do anything and it was just like a harmless flirtation get you through the day.
Yeah, yeah, and make
The
you
work
feel good
crush,
about
it's
yourself.
fine. Yeah, like it was nothing. He just took it too far. And he goes, I know there was mutual attraction. And she goes, I'm taken! And throws a plate.
Like I
I'm married!
I was kind of like, girl, chill. Like just chill for a sec. Like
No, her reaction said it all, though. Like, she could have just been
yeah.
like, no.
And she could have also been normal and been like, "Listen, Rick, like I'm having a lot of fun flirting with you, but like unfortunately, I'm married. I don't know what to say." But like she had to go insane.
No, like I think it was probably like the guilt that like she knew what she was doing and she probably
Yeah.
knew it was gonna go too far and it was like crossing because she goes, there was a line. We didn't cross
Yeah.
it. But I feel like
Yeah.
this she goes like now you've brought it to the attention. Like now we can't do anything about it. So
Yeah.
sucks, I guess. Then she's like, you gotta go. She goes, you're fired and you gotta leave right now.
Sorry, I'm just really hoping that there's not a roach in my apartment.
Oh, I sure hope not.
Cause then that's gonna be my moment of desperation. Okay. Um, so Tony has to go back to, I guess, essentially like the cabins, wherever they check people in, and she talks about a dippy brunette who went off on her own. And that's when Mike comes in. he starts to overhear their conversation, and they're just very obviously talking about Susan.
And he doesn't clock it until they call her a klutz. And he walks in, he goes, "What about a klutz?" But here's the thing, Susan. Like, okay, so you knew he was on this hike and it was going to be 2 days. You're already like a day behind him. There's no way you were going to catch up. So why couldn't she just say, like, I'm going to sit right here. Like, all the hikers have to come back into this, like, little, like, cabin. She could have just
Right.
said, I'm sleeping in the cabin. Like, you can't, like, staking it out. But
Right,
she
but
had to she had to do the hardest thing possible.
that's
But
Susan.
that's on Tony too, because I think Tony could have been like, "Hey, so what comes up must come back down." Like he's gonna come back down the mountain. Like just wait here. She could have just done that.
Yeah, and then of course they're talking about Susan, and we immediately cut to her still trying to navigate the woods, misreading
Lost
her
in the
little map.
woods.
Okay.
You know that
Um,
song? Lost in the woods. Frozen 2.
no, I don't, but I guess now we're going to have to add it to we're going to sing
We're
playlist.
lost in the woods. Singing, your friend Jonathan Groff sings in it.
My old buddy.
So crazy. I heard you're
No.
an actor. Me too.
I said, have you done anything I would know?
Did you see Leslie Odom Jr. is going to be returning to Hamilton?
No, that's crazy.
Isn't that kind of tea for like 2 months? I saw that at like 6 a.m. when I woke up. I was like,
Nice.
yeah, like 10 years later.
Yeah, wow.
I know.
Is
I'm like,
he
that's kind of
reprising
cool.
his same role?
Well, yeah.
I mean,
Actually, that would be kind of cool if he came back as Hamilton or something.
right?
Whoa, but no, he's coming back as Aaron Burr.
Amazing.
His Tony Award winning role.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember when I saw the matinee of that. I usually don't like a matinee, but they just really brought it.
Well, yeah.
But like he was crying at the end. I was like, it is 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You're gonna do this again later?
Wow. I
Just
mean,
saying.
like, get it together, man.
It was just a great performance. He really gave it his all. I'm excited that he's going to be back. I'm wondering how it's going to be. Just that she calls Mike and says she loves him, and then her phone dies. So she has no mode of communication or anything.
Again, typical Susie Q.
Yeah.
She is leaving him like this really heartfelt message and being like, I love you, I screwed up, blah, blah, blah. And right before she can get the last word in is like when her phone dies.
Yeah. Could be her last words ever. She's also limping, by the way. Like she's not a well woman right now.
So then Gabby is brought to Victor, and Victor looks like Bruce Wayne or something, like in his den. He's facing the fireplace, like drink in hand, contemplating. And he's pissed. And Gabby starts to talk. He tells her to shut up, like in capitals. And my jaw dropped.
I just wrote yelling ...
Yeah.
But the point, like, okay, his delivery was wrong, but like he goes, "You can't assault city employees." Like you can't really fight him on that one. Like maybe the delivery could have been a little different, but like at the end of the day, she did physically and verbally assault a city employee.
Yeah.
So like maybe like tone it down a little bit. Like you know who you married, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I know here in New York City, assaulting a transit worker can earn you 7 years in prison.
So she's lucky she got a couple hours. But then she goes, he hurt my wrist. Like, look what he did. Well, no, first he goes, you're bruised. And she goes, I know, that's what I was trying to tell you. Fat boy hurt my wrist. That's why I hit him.
She said it just
And he
like that.
Yeah. And then, like, his eyes change. He goes, he did that. She goes, yeah. And he goes, okay, get dressed for dinner.
What I didn't like was how he said that like she jumped into his arms like a 10-year-old and that she has to like act like an adult. Like it just rubbed me the wrong way because it's like she's allowed to show affection.
Well, again, it's like you know that that's what she's like.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, ooh,
And
okay.
she's like, I thought you liked me for how I am.
Yeah, and he was in private. And then Lynette gets home and she tells Tom that Rick quit.
Now, okay, Tom is in bed when she tells him this. The only thing we have seen Tom do in the last like 4 or 5 episodes is lay in bed, lay in chair, yell at McCluskey, and threaten Rick. All he does is lay
Was
around.
Doug Savant like actually hurt? Because like he really was just laying around for weeks. Like, did Doug Savant wake up every morning and goes, "Yippee! I get to go to work and lay around again"? I'd
Yeah.
actually be really bored because you know, like, as a vertical actress yourself,
Yeah.
as somebody who has long days on set on for an app called Short Max and Drama Box, you know, it's like there's a lot of like sitting around. So just like imagine just laying in the bed all day on set. I'd be
Yeah.
like that sounds nice in theory, but all day?
It's a lot. 12
Yeah.
hour day in bed.
Yeah, and then you get home and you have to go back to a bed. I'd be like, "Oh my God. I gotta take a lap, maybe." Um, so then she's like, Tom goes, "Wow, that's awesome. Maybe I'll come back to work." And she goes, "You have like months left." And he goes, "It's fine. I cleared it with my doctor. I can come back now instead of within 3 months." And she goes, "Oh, that's great." And then she goes to the bathroom, runs a bath, and just starts sobbing because she has to hang out with her husband all day.
Yeah, like she turns the water on and starts sobbing, and she's doing this like like Felicity Huffman, give her an Oscar for the scene. But like Tom is on the other side of the door going, "This is great. We get to work together again."
I'm just laughing because this is so me. Like, I have never related to anything harder. Like, if I had to work with my husband all day and then had to see him at home, I would also be sobbing, crying. Like, that's so much time. Like, she's so real for that.
But
Like,
what if
that's
like I think the
she's like,
difference is what if you actually like your husband?
no, just the person that I am, I need time to myself.
Yeah, but I don't know if like I think Lynette loves Tom, but she doesn't like him.
No, no, no. I think she loves him and likes him. I think she's just the type of person who needs to be able to do her own thing.
Yeah.
Like when they were working together at the firm, she was like, "No, I don't want you working here. Like I see you at home." Like she needs to have
Yeah.
her independence, and she's not getting that. But also, it's like you did set yourself up for this when you decided to quit your job as an SVP at a marketing firm to work for your husband at his restaurant. So it's like, hey, Fork Fountain Kitchen, you have to see your husband, Tom Scavo, at your restaurant, Scavo's.
My favorite thing about
Not
this
told Lynette and Rick.
storyline is that you just love saying Lynette is an SVP and every variation of that sentence. Lynette, you are an SVP. Well, Lynette gave up her job as an SVP.
Because she was. That's a crazy thing. To be a woman, a female SVP in 2005.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Going from
Whoa!
stay-at-home mom to SVP?
Whoa!
Like, that's awesome. Why'd you throw that away?
Yeah.
She continuously, like, gives stuff up for Tom, and then she's upset about it.
I know. We need to like do Oh, I just had an idea. What if we did
What?
like bonus content either like for regular or for Patreon, but just like deep dives into like how we psychoanalyze people?
Yeah.
What if we did that for each of the housewives?
I feel like we do that every week.
Yeah, but like one episode specifically dedicated to Lynette, one for Bree, one for Edie, like that sort of thing.
Okay, yeah, we can talk. We can workshop.
It might be fun.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And then let's see, Carlos. Oh, Carlos is like inquiring about the joint custody thing again, and he's like, Edie, like, sorry, but kids need stability because he realizes that Travers is much better off with his dad, which is kind of sad. But she goes, well, what are you gonna do? And he goes, I'm not going anywhere. It's fine.
Yeah, and they actually have a nice moment where like we see her get a little bit vulnerable again, and she obviously wants she doesn't want to be left again. She doesn't want to be alone. I
Yeah.
love them.
And then we do see Travers leave with the dog Fenway, and that made me happy because I was getting really stressed out. I was like, why are you just buying this puppy? Like, Edie, you're not a dog person. Like, what's gonna
Right,
happen?
right.
So I'm happy that they gave us some resolve. Um, and then and then she starts crying that she's really gonna miss Travers, which I think was a really good moment
Yeah.
that we had to see that this woman is not just like using her kid to keep a man around. Like she
Yeah.
genuinely did love her son. So, um,
Then it's the Victor Lang victory party, and I noticed that they are playing Someone to Watch Over Me from Crazy for You, which is a great song, great show,
ooh,
and interestingly I like listened to it earlier in the day, so like my ears perked up at it, but it's a really beautiful like instrumental version, and that's what he and Gabby are dancing to.
oh wow, what a coincidence. Then we see the fat boy meter man getting mugged and beat in the parking lot, which I felt bad for him
I know, I did too.
because he's just a guy who takes his job really seriously.
Yeah, and maybe too seriously, but like he doesn't deserve to get beaten.
No, like maybe just being like, hey, maybe don't like twist somebody's wrist.
Right.
But I don't think that like that's kind of spooky. So we see Victor Lang has some ties to the mob.
And I also don't
So
think the guy like intentionally meant to hurt Gabby, like
no, she was being really annoying.
and
She
she
was
did assault him.
she assaulted him. She was running around ripping up everybody's tickets. Not, I don't victim blame. I'm not saying she deserved it, but I think he was just trying to defend his stature in the community.
Sure.
And then Susan's asleep outside on the ground.
Very. You know what? I related to this a little bit. I related to this because,
Laying outside in the ground.
well, I related to the part where, you know, Mike, she opens her eyes and Mike is there to rescue her, and it felt a little bit like Disney movie, like the
Yeah, no, it
prince
was
finally
sweet.
finds the princess. Yeah, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's what I want that.
It was a
So,
sweet moment. It was like
yeah.
good to finally see. And then he just scoops her up and kisses her, and I was like, yay, 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 yay.
I
Mike,
actually
Mike.
I got like so jealous that I had to like turn it off before the credits started.
That's kind of insane.
Yeah.
Um, but I think it was good. I do wish that I think it would have been really cool to see Mike crash the wedding.
I know.
I
I
would have
know.
like I'm really upset. I want to like time travel and see him like
Yeah.
imagine they're in this full church and then the doors just like bust open and you just see him go, Susan! And then like doesn't say anything and then just like scoops her up like this and then she leaves. Like that would have been so good.
But I would also love to see, because he's not very good with words, I would have
Yeah.
loved to see him deliver a monologue of like,
Yeah.
I've loved you since the day I met you, blah blah blah. Like you can't marry this man.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like I wish we could see that.
I know. Like it was just it felt like kind of anticlimactic a little bit after
Yeah.
everything that we've seen these guys throw, but whatever. I'm just happy their drama's over for now.
Give it time, give it time.
Yeah, anyway, guys, that's our episode. This probably won't be our last one recording separately while we get like our whole thing set up. Well, no, because I guess you could come over here
That's true.
and pop up.
Now
Figure it
I get
out.
to pack my microphone, so I'm very excited about that.
Yeah. But yeah, this is our last bi-coastal episode until the time when I probably record from New York while you're in LA, which is
Right.
plausible. But Bye, guys. We will see you in Los Angeles.
See you in Los Angeles.
Y'all come back now. You're here.